We watched on this YouTube video called The Slow and Painful Greedy Death of Angry Birds, which you would if you watch the whole video. You know that Angry Birds, one of the most popular mobile games in the 2010s, has now become a shell of its former self, with the classic design now replaced with the movie design, to copy some other games like Candy Crush for example, to just being a lot of ads and microtransactions. Because of greed and terrible decision of the company called Rovio, which because of that, Rovio apologized, which then brought back the original game but later turned out. And because of greed and terrible decision, Rovio is now bought by Sega in 2023, and as of now, Angry Birds was once a popular game is now a shell or it used to be. Now there's no problem of this video, it's well edited and pretty good research of the history of Angry Birds, but when it comes to the downfall and the dark age of Angry Birds and the fans that pissed off that the original game got removed from App Store and Google Play Store, which, you know what, I'll play the clip of Sunny's video to show what the problem I have.
When people began to talk about what they'd done, people made compilations stating Angry Birds was dead. There were comments like, "Remember when Rovio actually cared?" whilst hashtag BringBack2012 began to trend on Twitter.
Yeah, hashtag BringBack2012. What is it? This is the problem I have for this because no one knows what hashtag BringBack2012 is and who started this. But if some of you, like myself included, know what hashtag BringBack2012 is, this is misleading. Although Sunday's video deep dive to the history of Angry Birds and the downfall of it, the research of the classic being removed and the hashtag BringBack2012 is poorly researched and not enough stuff on what it is, and the fans that piss off that the beloved are now removed from App Store and Google Play Store. But if some of you don't know what hashtag BringBack2012 is and the history of it, this is the video that gives you what it is and why. And we also dive into what the future of this franchise as a whole and the lessons we learned from the mistake of it. So please enjoy. So the year is 2018. Angry Birds, which if you watch Sunny's video, is now going a completely different direction. Things have changed since the Angry Birds movie came out 2 years ago. Newer Angry Birds is now completely made by the movie design, such as Angry Birds Revolution, Angry Birds Match, a Candy Crush ripoff, and Angry Birds Blast, also a Candy Crush ripoff, and tons of other games that are copying popular mobile games at the time, such as Candy Crush for example. However, with all the terrible games that happened in 2018, there are still some classic Angry Birds games that are still on the App Store and Google Play Store, such as Rio, Star Wars, Season, Epic, Go, and the original Angry Birds, which in 2018 is now complete with microtransactions and ads, with some advertising the newer Angry Birds games with movie designs and Candy Crush ripoff. Despite all of this, you could still play them on the App Store and Google Play Store until next year, but no one knows until it did. With all of this going on, fans of the classic Angry Birds are still not know what Rovio is doing behind the scenes, and the production of Angry Birds Movie 2 is still going on, except the newer games, which is just some Candy Crush ripoff will be movie designed. One of those fans is Maximus Overdrive.
You'll never catch me, crabs. Not when I shift into Maximum Overdrive! Hi-ya!
Okay, I'll stop with the SpongeBob clip. What was I? Oh yeah, Maximus Overdrive is the Angry Birds YouTube channel who makes videos of Angry Birds plush videos, from talking about the reviews of plushies to rare ones that have never been released or sold to this.
Oh my god! He's real! Look at him. Just look at him. Look at him breathing hardly. Look at him. Just look at it. It's real! Ah!
Although these videos not going well, he still wants to make more videos and maybe more ideas like Angry Birds Media and these that happen like Angry Birds Movie 2, which is still in production. So from 2018, Maximus Overdrive went from reviewing Prestige to reviewing Angry Birds Media like Angry Birds 2 for example, which is a full-on review on Angry Birds 2 episode day by day, which as of now is not complete yet. What a shame. And as of now, these videos from 2018 to 2019 are on the list, and the only way to find it is by looking at the playlist that have videos that are unlisted on YouTube. So okay, what is Maximus Overdrive have to do with hashtag BeBack 2012? Honestly, I don't know, but what I do know is that Maximus is the one who created the movement for community posts, and probably that had happened around 2018, which one that I found is the Stellar Plus review that made in 2018.
In 2016, the game was shut down. No more support, no more updates, and all was thrown into Rovio's trash can for all to forget. Hopefully Rovio can learn upon their mistakes and work towards bringing back old times. Hashtag bring back 2012.
But I don't know that Stellar Plus video is the first one that hashtag BeBack 2012 was created. If there were some videos from 2018 that hashtag BeBack 2012 used, let me know in the comments below. And if Maximus Overdrive sees this video, please tell me if hashtag BeBack 2012 was made in 2018, either was the Stellar Plus reviews or the other videos before that. Please comment below. I know you still block me on your comment section on your YouTube channel from 6 years ago because I'm too cringy and too annoying, but things have changed. I move on for this, and if this video is proof that your movement that you started with is not completely misleading, then please unblock me and spread the history of it, not because I want it to be famous, but I also want this video to show the history of it to the public that don't know about it. So please unblock me on your... Oh my god, I don't know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is unblock me on your comment section. What was I? Oh yeah, there were Angry Birds games that look like crap, Maximus Overdrive, and the hashtag BeBack 2012. So we covered the history of it. We now cover the meaning of it. What is hashtag BeBack 2012? Or to put it bluntly, what put 2012? Well, despite being the year that the Mayans predicted that would be the end of the world as we know it, it is also the year that Angry Birds at its peak. Yeah, there are some Angry Birds games that came out before 2012, including the original one, but 2012, I think, was the year that Angry Birds was at the peak of its success. There are so many levels, games, and updates that happened around 2012. In season, we have Years of the Dragon, in which we got a new power called Mighty Dragon, which is a replacement of Mighty Eagle. Angry Birds Faithful, which is now Angry Birds Friends that have tournaments and featured power wealth for the first time, like Sting Stoke that you scope your birds in the right direction, Super Speed, which is now renamed Power Potion in 2014 that makes your bird bigger, Birdquake, which is just a earthquake, and King Slide, which makes your slingshot even more advanced and faster, and Wingman, which is just talents with a big superhero hat and even more superpowers. Season got us Cherry Block level and newer Angry Birds that came out in 2012 called Angry Birds Space, which features some new gaming mechanics like never before seen, like new artwork, new bird design, including a new bird called Iceberg that just frees objects different directions or environments, launch birds to pull gravity to these pigs, which then become a huge hit with 10 million downloads in just 3 days and 50 million in 33 days. Season got a summer update called Pig Atlantis, Rovio and Activision got Angry Birds into the console called Angry Birds Trilogy, which includes the original, Seasons, and Rio. And then in season again got her new level called Back to School level, which features a new bird called Stella, who uses her bubbles to fight these pigs and pop, what do you know, death. And then, oh, everyone with pigs get their own game? Well, now they can, with a spin-off of Angry Birds called Bad Piggies, which you could build your own vehicles to reach the missing map, which then become the fastest game ever received, becoming the #1 spot on iOS in 3 hours and become the global phenomenon around the world. Then when Halloween came, Season got us Hunting Hog, such as a level in the mansion, and then a new Angry Birds game that came out in 2012 called Angry Birds Star Wars, a crossover game with Angry Birds and Star Wars, which featured levels that came from the original trilogy with levels with the mechanics from the original game to go into space with gravity mechanic, which taken from Angry Birds Space, and that even that became a huge success, becoming a #1 on the App Store in 2 hours, generating $100 million in just a year. And then when Christmas came along, Season got us Winter Wonderland level. I mean, there is still stuff I couldn't even keep up, like how the original Angry Birds got $1 billion in 2012, or the Ultra Book Adventure to promote Intel, or Angry Birds got their own theme park, or how Philadelphia Eagles from Super Bowl team up with Angry Birds to promote their team, or Cheeto promoted it, VGGB from Japan promoted it with Cherry Buck level from Seasons, or Coca-Cola and the Chinese Olympics promote Angry Birds Coca-Cola, or NASA promote Angry Birds Space and made an educational video on the International Space Station to show what gravity works. Wow. I mean, sure, there is still Angry Birds games, promotion, and stuff going on that still look great before and after 2012, especially the Angry Birds Toon series and that rocket science show, which featured NASA astronauts, employees, and science to educate the entire solar system. But that's another video someday. But I think 2012 was the year of Angry Birds at its success. All the promotion, all the new Angry Birds games came out, all the new ideas and new characters around 2012, but it is also the last time we see these classic Angry Birds one who once just a regular mobile game app is now become a big global phenomenon, which after 2012, Angry Birds start from being a regular video game to becoming a brand, for better and for worse. For Maximus and the Angry Birds fans who grew up with these classic Angry Birds from 2009 to 2012, 2012 was the best year for Angry Birds as a whole. So by the time that Rovio, the company that created Angry Birds, which after the Angry Birds movie came out, now making games that based off the movie design or some things that include the classic design, is basically just some Candy Crush ripoff. And some classic games that are still on the App Store and Google Play Store is now filled with microtransactions and ads that some advertising the newer Angry Birds games that are just Candy Crush ripoff. And and the sequel of Angry Birds movie is still in production in 2018. So to sum it all off, fans of the classic Angry Birds are not happy that Warrior is treating to these classic games that for one, they are done from the microtransaction that you pay real money to ads that promote their new Angry Birds games that they don't like, to all games that are just movie designs that are so overproduced. Maximus Overdrive, especially the fans of the classic Angry Birds, are sick and tired of seeing what Warrior is doing for Angry Birds as a whole. So Maximus Overdrive is starting the movie to fight back Warrior to what they've done to the franchise as a whole. And so #BringBack2012 is born, a movement whose purpose to bring back the original Angry Birds game that they grew up with. However, by the end of 2018, The movements have gotten little no support, despite the classic Angry Birds games is still on the App Store and Google Play Store, and the whole microtransaction and ads and the Angry Birds movie 2 is still right around the corner around the late summer in August. However, by that time, they're like, you know what? Let's just remove all the classic Angry Birds games from the App Store and Google Play Store. And also let's just remove all the other ones that no one cares about, like Angry Birds Go and Angry Birds Epic. I sure know what that will be doing is gonna cause some huge backlash, am I right? Yeah, Romeo, you probably got a huge backlash after you remove all the classic Angry Birds games from the App Store and Google Play Store. Soon after they removed all classic Angry Birds games like Nano Snap removed half the universe population, fans of the original Angry Birds are freaked out. The classic Angry Birds games including Season, Romeo, Space and Star Wars are now removed from the App Store and Google Play Store. There were backlash behind all of this. Videos are made to boost the support of their beloved games. One of them is hashtag Bring Back 2012. And since then, it got massively, although not as successful because all the fans who grew up with Angry Birds are kids and teenagers, and no one in the general public knew about which Sunday thought about. Despite this, hashtag Bring Back 2012 is still garnering massive support, with videos to force the support of the beloved games they grew up with, and it will continue to be after the creator of the movement will want to make more Angry Birds Blush videos, and after the sequel of the Angry Birds movie, which the box office numbers are not going well than the first movie did, and after the Angry Birds as a whole are now going to decline after terrible decisions by Romeo, and also recovered by releasing the game that are inspired by the original that he had to pick on Apple Arcade if he had the Apple products. So yeah, sorry Android users. By now, Romeo officially did not respond to the fans after the classic game got removed from the App Store and Google Play Store. After Romeo responded 2 years after the classic Angry Birds got removed from App Store and Google Play Store. Oh boy, that was a long wait. Romeo's response to the fans on why the game removed, saying that the reason they did it is because the older games are made on older technology, in which they can't work on modern technology, which, okay, if you A, talk about remove all the licensing games like Rio and Star Wars that are now bought by Disney that you can't approve of, and B, address all the microtransactions and ads which some advertising the new Angry Birds games that are garbage, and C, remove them is alright, but having said that after 2 years is so petty. You think this is what you came up with? Anyway, Romeo announced the fact that they will immediately bring the original Angry Birds games back on the App Store and Google Play Store from scratch to improve the quality of modern technology. Fans of the original Angry Birds are excited to see that the original Angry Birds are back what it used to be, with hashtag Thank You Romeo started trending through, much like hashtag Bring Back 2012, not as well successful. So over the next few months, we are waiting to see the original Angry Birds back on the App Store and Google Play Store. You know, let's just watch this episode to waiting the announcement of the original Angry Birds.
A few minutes later.
Wait, what? Yeah, that was in the official Angry Birds YouTube channel. This video was the episode of Angry Birds Slingshot Story, Season 2 exactly, which is a short-form series of what the gameplay of the original Angry Birds are inspired by. In episode 11 called Piggy Prank, the pigs are essentially making pranking videos on the mustache pig by scaring off with red in it, from pigs making a disguise of red, to putting red image on mustache pig mirror, to appearing red on television while mustache pig watch, which yeah, he was not having fun right now. By the end of the episode, the video ends with the intro show to subscribe to the Pig channel. The pigs, including Mustache Pig, are having a blast and laugh while the first comment on the pig prank videos that they got, reading Bring Back 2012, in which the pigs confused and look at the screen to the audience. Now this was leaked after they announced that the original Angry Birds games are returning, and now they are acknowledging the fact that the hashtag Bring Back 2012 is, and put them on the official YouTube channel. Does that include all the stuff on Angry Birds in 2012 you're talking about? Like, will Space gonna come back? Or Season gonna come back? Or back Piggies? Alright, they're still on the App Store and Google Play Store 1 year after it got removed. If you're consistent that the old games they're talking about or the older version about are not working on modern technology, then why Bad Piggies, a game made on older technology, is still on the App Store and Google Play Store as of right now? What is Romeo thinking? Anyway, it's March 2022. 8 months after they announced they brought back the classic Angry Birds games, a video dropped on all social media for the classic Angry Birds games. The video showing Red with the movie design numbering around his bed while scrolling through Twitter posts which one of them tweeting about the opinion about the newer Angry Birds games. Red was frustrated, which then the notification popped up with the messaging with the Angry Birds app icon says, "Do you miss me?" which then lead Red to check to see the classic Angry Birds app on his phone. Red opened the app, which then sucked it into the phone, teleporting to the classic Angry Birds world, with the classic Angry Birds design show up. The classic Angry Birds were strange to see the movie version of Red, with the classic Red confused, which then distracted them to find the eggs were stolen by the pigs, and oh boy were they Angry Birds.
Ugh, classic. So, how do I get out of here again?
So yeah, Romeo Classic Angry Birds, which they called, is now officially out when that video dropped. Not only would they bring back the original Angry Birds games as they should, but they acknowledged that they supported hashtag Bring Back 2012. Finally, after 4 years of bringing back the peak of Angry Birds 2012, they knew it. So we won, we celebrated, meaning we could have redevelopment of Angry Birds Space or Angry Birds Season, or even better, Angry Birds Rio and Angry Birds Star Wars version of it. Yeah. As it turns out, a few years later, after releasing the classic Angry Birds games, Romeo decided to Uno reverse and decided to remove the re-release of the classic Angry Birds game out again on the App Store and Google Play Store because, according to Romeo, the game impacting was too polabillo. I'm sorry. It's terrible what they said. They decided to remove it again, saying to the fans to bring passion to Angry Birds slingshot games such as Angry Birds 2, Angry Birds Friends, and Angry Birds Journey, where a goal and a way to craft the best possible experiences for players. So, what they are saying is the best possible experience for players from Angry Birds 2, Friends, and Journey. What they really meant to say is, hey, sad your favorite classic Angry Birds game is now gone again? Well, how about we give you games with microtransactions with a lot of ads and in a purchase to show up your money, please? Are you seriously, Romeo? After a few years to bring back the original Angry Birds on the App Store and Google Play Store and supporting the things the fans want, you decided to you know what? Let's do some trolling to showing the newer Angry Birds games we wanted. I hope they don't cause some backlash after this, am I right, guys? Wow. When I'm making this script for hashtag Big Back 2012 and the history of it, all of this, you know what? This is not even history of it. This is me ranting about all of it. What were your mind, Wario? You have promised to think that the fans won for years now, and now that you turned back, you lost your fans. Without it, you're nothing. You're just another one of those modern mobile games with no creativity, just used for money. And the fact that you promised to think the fans want, you lost trust. And oh, remember the letter to the fan article saying all the classic games are removed because they are made by older technology that they won't work on modern technology? Well, guess what? Piggies, which according to you was made by older technology that won't work on modern technology, is still work and still on the App Store and Google Play Store as of right now, after you removed them a few years ago. Despite all the ads and the microtransactions on it, at least Piggy got it what it deserved to be today, while the other classic games are gone to this day. So it wasn't the oldest technology that made the game worse that got removed from it. It was intent to remove them just so you could download these newer games that are designed to make in-app purchases, microtransactions, and put ads into this game. What a greedy way to make it, Wario. No wonder why fans are losing faith in your franchise. This is the most saddest downfall in mobile gaming history. Angry Birds could have been just another successful gaming genre competing with Mario, Sonic, and all the other gaming genres that they compete with. But with terrible decisions, terrible leadership, terrible newer games, it's no wonder Wario is now bought by Sega, because all the decisions I made in this video that the company faced is now getting bought because Wario don't know how to make a good mobile game since freaking bad Piggies. What a waste. As of right now, Angry Birds as we know it is becoming a shadow of its former self. There isn't a ton of new Angry Birds games that came from since the classic Angry Birds got released that got removed, but not as going with what the original Angry Birds came off with. Angry Birds Kingdom, forgotten. Angry Birds Block Quest, oh great. First they copied Candy Crush, now they copy Block Quest and Tetris? What's even worse is that they use AI to develop this game instead of using real people to make this game. They haven't even learned the lesson after making a new Angry Birds game. They are just copying popular mobile games into Angry Birds format like Pop, Blast, Match, and more. Even after Sega bought it, they still haven't learned from their mistake. And by the time of this video, the third Angry Birds movie that's gonna come out in a few years are now into production. The cast has been revealed. The movie is now produced by different studios, this time called Paramount Pictures instead of Sony and Columbia Pictures, which is the same studio that made Sonic the movie trilogy. And Wario is now owned by Sega that owns Sonic. So kind of coincidence, am I right? And oh, what a train wreck of what this franchise. I'm worried that if this thing keeps going, we will start to see the death of Angry Birds as we know it. And if Wario keep popping the same thing over and over again, we will see people lose faith in this franchise and move on to the other things. Because Wario don't give a single created ideas to make a great games. There is no one to save it but ours. We have a rule that to voice their support against these crappy ones just so to make money, and they heard it and they blew it up.
They fooled us to believe in them, and we got bamboozled because we believe in them. I feel like there is nothing we could do. We have our voice heard and got fools. You know, when looking at the history of the movement, there are a few mistakes, and one of those mistakes is that we want our classic and give us back. And we did that, and it got removed again. What we really meant is that we want good quality games, and that's the problem with nostalgia. We feel so attached to the classic ones that we forgot to know what makes them a good mobile game. Because like Shigeru Minamoto said, a delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is eventually bad. Rovio is on track to make Rush Angry Birds games, and the classic Angry Birds release is now delayed in reverse. If we want Sega and Rovio to make a good Angry Birds games, then start making it what it used to be, not copying the same popular mobile games over and over again, and the fans were tired of it. Please. Yes, you copied something like that before, but at least there were efforts to make, but please. Stop rehashing the same thing over and over again. We are tired of you playing your garbage game, Rovio. And another thing is to wrap up this video is hashtag BigBang 2012. You probably heard the history of it if you watch this whole video. 2012 was the biggest year for Angry Birds. It was a huge phenomenon, not only for the franchise but the whole world. It guaranteed a new idea to the world of Angry Birds, from outer space to pigs building a mechanical vehicles. Sure, there are games that are good and the Angry Birds media like movies, TV shows, and merchandise before and after. But 2012 was the biggest year for Angry Birds. It was everywhere, from merchandise, theme parks, Super Bowl, even NASA promoted it to educate what gravity works. Angry Birds is on the path becoming the next Sonic, Mario, and tons of gaming characters and series. Hell, mobile games wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Angry Birds. And the fact that Angry Birds is going downhill in the most painful way is sad. This is not how you treat a franchise so badly. My goal of this video is to not just want Angry Birds to be successful again, but I wanted it to get respect what it used to be. The fact that this franchise is going downhill in the most painful, awkward way is not okay. I want Angry Birds to be what it used to be, respect. If you're one of these people that want Angry Birds to what it used to be, then please type hashtag respect Angry Birds. And we also bring it back hashtag BigBang 2012 because it's the year that Angry Birds at its peak. That is respect, not pain, respect, because what they did to this is disrespect and painful. So please join the fight for respect Angry Birds, because without it, the franchise is gonna rot if we don't resist. Thank you for watching, and this is just the beginning.
Also, Maximus Overdrive creator of hashtag BigBang 2012. Please unblock me on your comment section. It's been 6 years since, and now I am the one who's leading the movement.